Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys I'll be checking out student tries and fails to stump Ben Shapiro during Q&A. And you guys, I'm super excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
Here's Ben Shapiro at the school trying to get these college students back on track with reality.
You said that the potential rise of global temperatures by 4 degrees Celsius due to climate change is, quote, not an emergency, and even made fun of top scientists for calling climate change a climate emergency. A new study by the Journal of Natural Science says that if by the end of the century, climate change will total up to 83 million deaths because of climate-related causes.
Yeah, they're wrong. Sorry, go ahead, but continue, but I'll explain why. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, Ben, why you believe that climate change is not an emergency.
Okay, because they're wrong. So now here's the, sorry, I didn't let you get to the question mark. The reason that they are wrong is because all of these studies are done in the absence of mitigating measures. So as I've said before, when I talk about climate change, when you're talking about climate change, there are a couple of things human beings can do. And by the way, I accept IPCC estimates. They range from sort of the mild, like 1.5 degrees Celsius, all the way up to the not very mild, like 4 degrees Celsius, again, over the course of the century. And because there is this range, the more extreme versions of this, the 4 degrees Celsius, whenever you read the IPCC reports, which I have, when you read those reports, they say in them that they have very low confidence that some of the more catastrophic sort of predictions are going to occur. They will say low to moderate confidence. The less catastrophic predictions, they'll say more like high confidence or fair high confidence, that kind of stuff. Okay, here is the thing. When people suggest that there is not going to be any sort of mitigation measures, this is wrong, or adaptation. So there's two ways you can deal with it. One is mitigation, which is we all stop driving cars, we stop using electricity, we don't have kids anymore, right? We really cut down on our carbon usage in ways that are catastrophic to the world economy. And what it really mostly does is it says to people in the developing world, hey, you're screwed. Because those are the people who really need carbon-based emissions. It's very easy for those of us who live in extraordinarily prosperous societies to say, you know what, I'm cutting down my carbon emissions a little bit because we live in very prosperous societies. Carbon-based energy is by far the most efficient form of energy on the planet, and it's worthwhile to notice that people who are living in developing or undeveloped countries, those people are still, in large part, burning things like dung for fuel, which is not only carbon intensive, but also a horrifying way to live. And telling those people you can't use carbon-based energy is a mistake. In order for us to take the mitigation measures that would be necessary in order to dramatically lower the trajectory of global climate change, you'd have to get China to sign on, which they will not. You'd have to get India to sign on, which they will not. Those are the two largest carbon-based emitters on planet Earth, and we live in a geopolitical world in which a carbon emission from China counts the same as a carbon emission from the United States, which says, again, this doesn't mean there's nothing we can do. It means what we ought to be doing is the thing that will prevent the 83 million deaths, which is why I'm very confident it will prevent the 83 million deaths, adaptation. This means, for example, that we build seawalls. The simple fact of the matter is that New Orleans exists below sea level.
You guys, this is very, very interesting. I love what Ben Shapiro is doing here. Do you guys agree with what Ben Shapiro is saying, or you are totally against it? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, and let's continue, guys.
When the seawalls, when levees were breached because the levees were poorly built, it killed 10,000 people. When the levees, last time around, this last year, there was a major hurricane. It swept directly through the exact same area, and pretty much no one was killed. The reason being, the levees were much better built. When you're looking at coastal, low-lying areas, seawalls have been built in places in Miami, in places in Seattle. Geoengineering, which is a methodology that's being explored largely in some of the northern European countries for actually changing the climate itself by, for example, shooting particular types of material into the air. You know, these sorts of solutions are things we should be pursuing. They're a lot easier to do because technology is a lot easier to do than anything remotely approaching a global carbon tax, which will, number one, be unsuccessful, and two, will not mitigate the effects on the climate nearly as much as you're talking about. Human beings are great at adaptation, and we suck at mitigation. And as I've said before and been mocked for it, the simple fact of the matter is over the course of the next 100 years, when you see all these maps and it's like this area will be flooded and all those people will be dead. No, because they won't be living there. Because as it turns out, when the tide rises, people move inland. This is what has been happening throughout human history. Not a huge number of people were killed, presumably, when the land bridge between Russia and Alaska, that from which Sarah Palin could see, right? When that land bridge ended up being covered up in water, there weren't tens of thousands of people who died in that because it took thousands of years for that to be covered up by water. Slow-moving crises are not crises; they're problems, not emergencies.
So once again, Ben breaks it down pretty easily. So the thing that I understand through this is that governments, especially here in the West, governments, their only job is to try to create these emergencies and chaos and craziness because they want the people to use government services. They think if we create the problem, then the people will come in and use our services. And that's what the government is trying to do. They're trying to create some type of hysteria around climate change. Climate change is something that happens slowly over time. It's not something that all of a sudden we wake up and the world is collapsing. But the government want you to believe that because then you'll buy into the government programs that they want to create for you. This is, it's quite obvious. Now, what the government wants to do is they want to create this carbon emission tax. So what they're going to do is create the problem. Okay, let's create the climate change problem. Let's get everybody in a frenzy over it, and then the government will come in with a solution. Well, great, give us your money. We'll create a carbon tax, and we'll solve the problems. So what are they trying to do? They're just trying to. It's another way to try to steal your money. So don't buy into the whole climate change is going to happen. Millions of people are going to die. It's not going to happen. And Ben gave a great example right there at the end. There used to be a landmass between Alaska and Russia, but over time that landmass got filled in with water. Now the people that lived on that landmass, they all of a sudden just wake up one day and the water was on top of them. It just doesn't happen. It's slowly eroded. So as the erosion started to happen, they'd move inland, they move into Alaska, and then maybe into the United States. So that's happened over a slow time. But government's trying to create this big, huge problem, and they're going to try to come back and give you the solution to this problem. They do it all the time, and they're going to try to do it again with this whole climate change.
That was such an eye-opener. I've learned a lot from this explanation that Ben Shapiro gave in this video. It was such an eye-opener, and let me know what you guys think about this video. Do you think that Ben Shapiro's explanation or theory was correct? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I really enjoy reacting to this video. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.